Wonder Wealthy. I just got off a 14-hour international flight, and yes, I wear this outfit almost all of the time. You all know that I am approaching a more minimalist lifestyle, and this is 100% my travel wardrobe. Anyway, I'm just off of this flight, and I thought it would be fun to compile a list of, I believe, 9 or 10 items. These are some rookie moves to avoid to act like you are a seasoned traveler. And for the most part, a lot of them are just my general pet peeves too, but I will be clear that I make these mistakes still, and I've made a lot of them in the past. But I wanted to point them out because they can help you look less like a rookie, which can help you be safer, be more confident, and more calm, cool, and collected when you're traveling. Because I know traveling brings up a lot of anxiety for people, especially flying on the airplane, so hopefully this will help too. All right, enough babbling. Before I dive in, make sure if you're new to my channel, you hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos, which I do here on this channel on a weekly basis. All right. So, rookie tip number 1 is when you are airline traveling, know what you bought when you bought your ticket and know what you're getting yourself into. Let me explain. If you buy your ticket through a budget airline like Spirit or Frontier, then you're going to have to pay for a lot of other things. So when you get to the airport, you might be shocked that you can't just bring on that carry-on piece of luggage if you didn't pay for it yet. And it was probably cheaper if you would have paid for it earlier than now at the airport. Also, if you want to get something to drink, you'll probably have to pay for that too. Whereas in other airlines that aren't considered budget airlines, you don't necessarily always have to pay for your luggage, especially not carry-on luggage, and you definitely don't have to pay for drinks. It's just very important to make sure you understand what you're getting into when you're buying your ticket. Tip number 2 is to check in online. This will ensure that you get a really good seat and you don't get stuck in the middle. No one wants to sit in the middle seat. I will only sit in the middle seat if my boyfriend insists needing to sit in the aisle or the window, then I will be nice and sit in the middle as long as he lets me sleep on him, like on his shoulder, and constantly bob my head up and down, and it's really annoying, so you know, who ends up winning here? Anyway, technology is amazing, and the best invention was the capability to check in online within 24 hours before your flight, and pretty much every airline allows this now. In addition to that, they allow you usually to pick your seat. Unless you're Southwest, where you pick your seat as you board, then you want to check in early so that you can get a good boarding position, but I digress. Check in online so that you can pick your seat and you don't get stuck in that dang middle seat. Tip number 3 is to wear socks, or at least bring a spare if you insist on wearing sandals, because especially if you're flying domestically, you're most likely going to have to take off your shoes, and walking around TSA barefoot is the nastiest thing I've ever had to do. And I've done that and made this mistake quite a lot. Just don't forget to bring an extra pair of socks, or just wear tennis shoes and pack your sandals. You'll be fine. Your feet might sweat a little bit, but you'll be fine. You'll be so glad that you didn't have to walk around where everyone else's nasty bare feet have to walk. Traveler tip number 4 has to do with TSA as well, and that is to empty your water bottles, empty your pockets, empty your backpack of your computer as you go through the screening process. All right, this one pretty much everyone does, but it drives me bonkers. Number 5 is lining up at the gate like a herd of buffalo before the gate agent is even taking the tickets, but even while the gate agent is taking the tickets, but your section hasn't been called. So most airlines will give you a number, a boarding number, and then as your number is called, you go through the boarding process. You go through the gate and they check your boarding pass, and then you can board the plane. These days, I don't know what's gotten into people, but everyone just stands in front of the gate in this huge line / mob, and it gives me anxiety because I'm a small person and I just can't handle it. Now, I get why people do this. The main reason is that everyone travels lighter these days, or they just always travel with a roller bag carry-on. And I typically do this too. And the reason people herd up at the gate in line is because they want to get that precious overhead compartment space. Now the thing is, if you are in the back of the line or you're called last, then you might have to gate check your bag. You can't put it up in the overhead compartment. And why do people not want to check their bag? Usually because they don't want to wait at the baggage claim to get their bag. So a lot of business travelers will do it this way. But it still just drives me crazy. In my mind, either I'm gonna get the overhead bin regardless, or the person is going to take my bag and check it, and I'm gonna have to wait an extra 10 minutes to get my bag and carry on with my day. Sometimes the gate agent will put your bag under the plane, but then take it out and let you pick it up as you deboard the plane. That's my favorite way of doing it, because then I don't even have to worry about finding overhead bin space. But here's the true problem for me. As people herd up in this line/mob in front of the gate agent, and the gate agent is calling the boarding numbers, people that have the last boarding number are at the front of the line. And so the people that can board can't get through because they have to go around all these other people. And it just causes way more chaos than it needs to. And it makes people have to stand in line for far too long. You could sit at the gate in a chair, and then once you're called, you could get up and go through the gate agent checkpoint, and then you could board. But now people stand in line, and then they go through the checkpoint, and then they stand in line again to get on the plane, because the plane, everyone's trying to get on, and it is just, for me, the most frustrating thing in the world. And it didn't used to be this way, or not nearly as bad, and now everyone just likes to stand in line, and I don't understand it. I'm sorry, that's my rant, but it's a pet peeve of mine, so I wanted to share it anyway. Newbie travel mistake number 6, or probably more well addressed as a annoying traveler mistake, is talking too loudly while you're on the airplane, either on your phone or with your neighbor, or even worse, with a stranger that probably doesn't want to be talking back to you. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of people want to converse on airplanes, and it's totally appropriate to do so. But what you don't realize is when you're on a plane and you talk at a normal level, your voice carries, because it's this confined place, and I'm sure it has a lot to do with the pressure and being at altitude and all that stuff too. Maybe not, I don't know. But when people talk too loud, you can hear them, and it can be very obstructive to everyone's own vision of them taking that airplane ride. You see, when I fly in an airplane, I want to get work done, I want to sleep, I want to read, I want to zen out, maybe talk quietly to the person next to me, but we always have those people who sometimes are just a little too loud. So that is number 6, is to just have appropriate and respectful airplane etiquette. Talk kindly and nicely to the person near you, and respect everyone else's peace. Okay, number 7 on the list is jumping out into the aisles immediately when the airplane lands. And this is another thing that pretty much a lot of people do. It's probably all the people who wait in line at the gate before their number is called that jump out into the aisles immediately to get all their stuff down. I get it, people are impatient, but gosh, we're all gonna get off this dang plane, we have to. It doesn't matter if you're gonna get off the plane 3 minutes before me, unless I get it, you have a connecting flight, but just chill. The system works. We all board the plane at our respective times, and we all deplane in a line, because that's just how, you know, the flow of traffic works. And that kind of leads me into number 8, which is getting overly worked up and anxious and really actively showing it when you feel like you're about to miss your connecting flight. This is something that happens to every single traveler, and it really sucks. I've spent overnights in many airports and many cities calling random friends and people that I knew to try to crash there for the night because I missed a connecting flight. It's not fun. I've also ran a lot from gate to gate. But when you're sitting on the plane and you're overly boisterous and obviously anxious and being kind of aggressive and angry, that is when it's just uncomfortable for everyone. Most likely, if you're gonna miss your connecting flight, there's a handful of other people on the plane that are gonna miss theirs. And it's just best to keep calm and trust that this is all part of travel. You're either gonna make it or you're not. And if you're not gonna make it, someone's going to help you make it eventually to your end destination. But I get it, travel causes anxiety. And I promise you, you're going to better serve yourself if you can just stay calm and trust the process. Speaking of connecting flights, that leads me to number 9, which is speaking to the gate agent in a rude way, as if they were the one that made you late for your connecting flight. Now, the people that work at the desk do sometimes have power to help you out, but for the most part, it's out of their hands. So just know that when you're talking to them, they are also a human being. The best thing you can do, especially when you're in an airport, is to at least be kind to the people around you. If you can be kind to them, they're going to want to help you a lot more. And it's okay if you cry. Crying is normal, but try not to get angry, try not to be harsh, and try to understand where they're coming from too, because they're probably dealing with more people who all missed their flights as well. And number 10 is to be aware of your surroundings and the way you present yourself in the airport. This kind of goes into some of my pet peeves, which is people just stopping and standing in the middle of hallways while you're trying to get somewhere pretty quickly, especially all those people who are missing their connecting flights. They don't want to have to walk around you. So be respectful. If you aren't missing your flight, maybe step to the side or just recognize when there's things coming at you real fast or trying to get by you. This is probably good for you from a safety standpoint as well as protecting yourself and your belongings. So that's also good to just have overall self and spatial awareness in that regard. But beyond that, I always make my best effort to allow people who seem very stressed out and filled with anxiety to let them go in front of me if I don't have a pressing connecting flight or I'm not in the biggest hurry to get anywhere. Even if I am, I usually let these people go because it just seems like I can make their day so much better by simply letting them go in front of me to get through customs or to go through security than me getting through security and being rude and not helping someone else out. It's about being a kind person, and especially when you're in the airport, it's a special place. Everyone is kind of in a collective format of trying to get from point A to point B. They're excited, they're anxious, they're curious, and it's a place to be human with each other. So that is why number 10 is all about understanding what's around you and also the people who are around you. All right, that's all I have for my tips and tricks and pieces of advice for newbie travelers, especially airline travelers, and also some of my pet peeves. I'm sorry if I got a little harsh, but I hope you like it. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up so I know to make more. Comment below what your big air travel pet peeve is. I wanna hear what you have to say, especially if you're a seasoned traveler, but even if you're a newbie rookie traveler. Let's hear it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I upload new videos on personal development, personal finance, and travel every single week. And until I see you next time, I hope you wander wealthy. Now it's time for the worst part of traveling, which is unpacking.